Aloha friends. Our movement snack today is a crowd favorite. It's the toes to head joint circles. So let's start at the feet. Making the biggest articulated circles you can. Just working the whole range of motion that your ankle has and then switch directions. When I talk, like to balance. When I'm not talking, I balance just fine, but the second the yap trap starts moving, I'm falling all over the place. So I'm not embarrassed to get a little balance help, and if I needed it, not just because I'm running my yap, I would use it as well, and I encourage you to get the best circles that you can. If you remember our knee circles, these were some fun ones where we try to space out one knuckle apart the whole time. So I push my knees forward and to the left, circle to the right, come back. And I'm gonna do about 5 circles one way. And if you need to, just physically put your fist between your knees. It's okay if your feet and ankles roll to the side a little bit, that's totally fine. And then I'd go the other direction. These feel really good. But what I don't wanna do is roll my feet or ankles to the side before they've reached their full range of motion. So they're only allowed to tip once I'm starting to feel that stretch. Hips, I don't usually do huge hip circles, but getting a little bit of hula action never ever hurt anybody. When I was back at Krav Maga, Maryland, and seeing a group of 20 to 30 tough guys, a lot of guys in law enforcement and corrections and this, that, and the other, seeing them do hip circles while nervously trying not to make eye contact was pretty funny. Let's do a fun one here. We're gonna do rib circles. This is the standing equivalent of the clean the barrel. Remember we do cat, cow, clean the barrel, which the kids at Mission Fit nicknamed the dirty stripper? Well, we are not that, but we're going to push our rib cage forward, to the side, back. I clean the barrel that way. I clean the barrel that way. I could do a couple barrels and just following the rib cage, I go the other way. Now you can, move your hips and your upper body. You can get a whole lot more into it, but just try and get some movement through the ribs. Try and get the upper back moving. Since I just did that, let's do some shoulder rolls backwards. These feel so good. Shoulder rolls forwards. I have to remember to switch because I would just keep doing these. These are like medicine to my joints. Hug yourself, open it up. Hug yourself, open it up. We're gonna do thoracic twists next, which are just my absolute favorite because, oh, there it is. I usually get a little upper back crack. Now, I could have arms as floppy. I could have arms rigid. Doesn't matter so much. This is just a good general warm-up. I like our yeses and nos next. So yeses, yes, yes. And then nose, looking with the eyeballs backwards. The eyeball look is so important because our occipital muscles engage even more when we look with our eyes. I'm not quite sure why, but they do, and we just get a little bit more out of it, a little bit more engagement and some benefit posturally as well. So you're probably feeling super warm. Now we're going to do our strength, which is going to be some active shoulder work and just good old-fashioned air squats. When I say active shoulder work, I'm going to take my 2 yoga blocks and probably put them to this, I'll go here. Now, the way we're going to activate our shoulder is down, depressing it. This is actually not the best tool in your house to learn this movement, but it's the one that's in my little studio, so it's going to have to do. The best tool for this in your house is in your kitchen. You've probably got a 90-degree corner that you've probably propped yourself up on at a certain point in your life, like just either sitting there having a conversation, being bored, or playing around, monkeying around in the kitchen. At least I have. This is where I admit that I am a monkey all over the house. But if we were to imagine like this was the kitchen corner and I were to put my hands back on that cabinet and prop myself up, this depression is what we're going to focus on. So this is active shoulder depressed. This is passive shoulder. This is what gravity wants my shoulders to do, is be right up by my ears, and I'm going to fight against that pushing down. So my feet are on the ground right now. I can also do this, tucked up. Now I won't go into the passive because I'm going to be bearing a little bit too much weight to do that safely, but now I'm just going to go active in holding myself up. Some key things to remember. This is not just a place where I have tattoos. This is my anti-cubital fossa, or anterior cubital fossa, which is your fancy word for elbow pit. You're gonna remember that today. With my elbow pits, I keep them facing forward, not bulldogging inward. So this is another thing that's really important for stable shoulders. We've done so much leg stuff. I'd like to introduce some arm stuff and teach you guys how to get some powerful, stable platforms for shoulders and upper backs. So that's that. Our air squat, we're just gonna focus on one that we haven't done as much before. We're gonna go hands up on this air squat, focusing on getting some real engagement through the upper and mid back. So as I squat down, start here, I'm gonna lift my hands up, looking straight forward, as high as they'll go, and then come back down again. Straight up. Now, there are some people that get their hands like right over their shoulders. That might be some of you. That's not me, and that's okay. I do have a more upright squat than I've had before, and it, I think, is one where some people have it supernaturally, some people don't, but all people can make it better. So no matter where your squat's at right now, don't judge it, hang with it, be with it. So we're gonna do 3 to 6 rounds of, let's say, 10 to 20 second active shoulder hold. In a tuck position would be even better. And then 10 of those air squats, 3 to 6 rounds. If you're feeling super beast mode, do 15. The number's kind of arbitrary because we're all at different levels. So I'm tossing out like a good basic number, but you could do up to 6 rounds of 20 if that's what your body asked for, and it was going to be the sort of thing where you got a good workout today, but it didn't make you so sore that you can't work out tomorrow or the next day. We want to keep that longevity piece in mind. By the way, I just looked up because anytime I say something that I think has some real value, I'm like, I must not be recording because I just missed that. So keep longevity in mind. All right, we're gonna get for our guts and butts, we're gonna get a different type of shoulder strength and different type of activation against gravity. This time we're gonna go active shoulder, protracting or pushing forward. So this is where my shoulders would naturally sit in a plank. If I was getting really tired, fatigued, they'd really push back. But what I want to do is bring them forward, protract forward. So we're going to do a protracted plank. It may not look that much different from a regular plank, but I can tell you your butt is going to be squeezed tighter. Your abs are going to be engaged more, ribs definitely tucked, and you're going to be pushing away. So looks like this with my checklist. What I do, squeeze my quads tight, squeeze my glutes tight, abs tight, and then protract. And this is my plank. I can look slightly forward, slightly down. What I don't want to do is let any parts go lazy or not as active. So I want to keep my arms straight, my glutes squeezed, my abs tight, my quads tight, so that somebody could stand on me, which I've done before. It's a pretty fun one, pretty fun party trick when your significant other stands on you during a plank. And then we're gonna do, with our holds, we're gonna do 10 bridges with a 10-second hold on the last bridge. 1, 2, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. Squeezing my butt as tight as I can. And it's going to be the protracted hold, the active shoulder plank. Hold that for 20 to 60 seconds, and then do 10 of those, 10 of the bridges with a 10-second hold on the last one, and let's hit 4 to 10 rounds of that. Thanks, friend.